In the cold, unforgiving coast of Scotland, there stands the Flannan Isles, perched atop the island of Moor, a lighthouse, alone against the wind and sea. From a distance, it looks eternal, steadfast, unshaken. But step inside, and you'll be met with a silence that unnerves most. For the men who tended its walls, that silence was a reminder that they were now truly alone. At the edge of the world, the Northern Lighthouse Board ordered a tower to be built upon Moor, one of the 7 Flannan Isles. Construction began in 1895. It was no easy feat. Intense winds from the Outer Hebrides swept inexperienced workers off their feet, and the tides constantly battered the rocks below. After years of struggle, the Flannan Isles Lighthouse was finally completed in December of 1899. It was a beacon of safety for passing ships, and a lonely fortress for the men who kept its light burning. 3 brave men were appointed the role of lighthouse keeper. There were more on rotation, but we're going to focus on the 3 relevant to this story. The first being James Ducat, principal keeper, and was known to be calm and level-headed. The next man is Thomas Marshall. He was the second assistant, and was described as sly and young, yet disciplined. The last of the crew, Donald MacArthur, a relief keeper known for his temper and heart equally so. Together, they shared endless hours of silence. No towns, no families, only the sea, and a constant wind that never slept. All of their activities were noted in a logbook. Starting December 12th, Thomas Marshall stated the following: severe gale, wind west, very rough sea conditions. The Flannan Isles were infamous for brutal storms and violent winds. To this day, those who visit the island at the wrong time experience strong, consistent winds and violent waves that batter the sharp rocks of Moor. Even experienced keepers struggled mentally out there. The energy of the group was dwindling fast, and everyone could feel it. But signs of trouble began long before the men were declared missing. A passing ship named the Arctur sailed past and reported,
Captain's log, 15th of December 1900, passing the Flannan Isles. No light was observed from Moor. Confirmed by the second mate, logged for further investigation. There is a feeling I cannot shake. I cannot be certain, but I don't like the look of this.
A feeling of dread soon began to circulate as the light was extinguished December 15th to the 26th. It never turned back on. The 3 lighthouse keepers appear to have vanished. Yet that wouldn't be confirmed until another ship called the Hesperus sailed by and noted the following.
26th of December 1900. We'd at last made landfall on Moor. We expected to see flags flying, keepers on the dock ready to unload. But the landing was empty. No provisions, no flag, no light. Even after blasting the ship's whistle and firing a rocket, there was no response. Something was clearly wrong. Joseph Moore went ashore to investigate.
According to relief keeper Joseph Moore, in his own words, I began climbing the cliff path to the lighthouse. When I reached the station, my heart sank. The gate was closed, the main door shut. I quickly opened the door, and inside, everything seemed untouched. The beds lay unmade, the fire cold, the clocks all stopped. Meals sat where they had been left days before. Then I saw the oilskins. One set hanging neatly. It was MacArthur's, a man who never stepped outside without them. It would seem that the men had somehow fully vanished. What happened to the keepers of the Flannan Isles? Over the years, speculation has been relentless. Some suggest rogue waves. The West Landing shows clear signs of violent water, ropes torn, iron railings bent, supply boxes tossed aside. Perhaps the men were struck as they attempted to secure equipment, swept into the sea in an instant. Others point to sudden localized storms. The surrounding weather reports show calm, but the island itself is exposed to winds and tide from every direction. A violent, short-lived squall could have caught them unprepared. And then there are whispers of hallucinations or panic, weeks of isolation, endless wind, and the oppressive crash of waves might have played tricks on their mind. Perhaps fear, fatigue, or even alcohol led to poor decisions, turning an already dangerous environment into a fatal one. No matter the theory, every explanation points to a harsh, unforgiving island, a place where even the most experienced men could vanish simply without a trace.
Three men, James, Thomas, and Donald, alone atop a windswept island. The constant roar of waves crashing, the wind howling, storms raging without end. Their names forever etched in the history of the Flannan Isles, reminding us that sometimes the greatest danger isn't the storm outside, but the storm within.
The lighthouse still stands, a sentinel of stone against the dark. But the keepers, they're gone, without a trace. Now, the story I told today only scratched the surface of the Flannan Isles mystery. If you'd like to explore it further, I'll link to other channels that dive deeper into the events. My goal with this video was to capture the feeling of isolation the keepers experienced. Even if it was for only 3 weeks, it's a reminder of how powerful, quiet, and vast the ocean can be, and how small we can feel standing beside it. If this story teaches us anything, it's that even as the mystery endures, the sea moves on, calm, steady, indifferent. A quiet reminder that some things are larger than our understanding, and what lingers of the keepers now are their memories. Thank you for listening to this story. If you enjoyed this experience and want to hear more stories like this in the future, consider liking, leave a comment, or share this video with someone you know who may enjoy it as well. Not mandatory, but also helps if you become a member of the channel. See you in the next one.
Through the static and the silence, a whisper calls your name. A voice that chills your spirit, yet soothes you all the same. In the dark, the tales unfold, where shadows love to creep. But the echoes in the distance might just rock you back